Skate, is it really as much fun as you say it is to be a street racer? I don't understand.
Hello and welcome to the monthly RX7 cleaning. This thing has been needing a bath for like probably more than what I should have let it go for. Here it is. It's pretty dirty. I just got home. I ran some errands today. I'm gonna have to give it a pretty good wash, and I figured why not record it and jumpstart my channel. So I'm going to walk through all the little parts that I clean on a RX7-FC, and I hope you all enjoy. Starting off, I'm just gonna walk through what areas tend to get dirtiest. There are some spots that tend to get dirtier than others, especially the front end, since this car is so low to the ground. This is a whole hand's worth of space. That's about how much clearance I have on the front end. So anything that gets kicked up ends up in this grill. I don't know if this shows up too well on camera, but this has been long overdue, like I said. But there are some things that I cannot help on this car. There are some chips that are on the hood that I cannot clean off, unfortunately. I wish. As well as the windshield. The windshield gets pretty dirty too. These mirrors, as cool as they look, they tend to rack up some pretty gnarly dirt. The windows, obviously, they're hard to see out of at night, so I need to give those a good scrub too. Oh, this hatch is amazing to have, don't get me wrong. The rear end actually comes out pretty unscathed. Between washes, I haven't had much trouble. The only thing is that this ledge, it kind of racks up all this dust. It's kind of hard to see. All these things that I'm showing are probably a little harder to see on camera, but if you look up close in person, this car is nasty right now. Also, I don't know if this is something that I'll do today, but I do want to polish the tips of these exhausts. I think it would make it much cooler, but I'm actually going to be investing in a Racing Beat exhaust soon. As you can see, the mufflers are a little bit dated. But yeah, just gonna clean around the outside of the car and hop into the interior. In the car, first glances, the interior of this car is actually pretty well kept. The dust tends to rack up in this little scoop, and here's the digital display where it will tell me everything that's wrong with my car. Hitting the clock, and I'm pretty sure the time dial. I think that I'm due for a vent cleaning. These look pretty dirty. These attach to the center hub of the car entirely, and it flows through to here, which comes out. I think I remember the first time I got this car and I first turned on the air, all the dust came blowing out because this car had been sitting for a minute. Yeah, you can kind of see the dirtiness on the inside right here. That's gonna be fixed. The tops and surfaces of these, probably, I just like to polish up the leather because this is all leather. It does get a little bit cracked. This is probably the worst part of this car, is these seats. I just like to keep them in better shape by giving them a little leather moisturizer, you know. The interior of this car is pretty well kept. There's not really much I can do other than get the inside parts right here, you know, trash as there is. Work clothes. Shout out Honeylux. Shout out to Honeylux Coffee. Found my work shirt in the back of my car right here. It's probably gonna smell like little trees for months. Oh my gosh. Another thing that I'm gonna try to clean is probably this back hatch. This gets really dirty, and the past owner did have a Siberian Husky, and she brought it in the car with her a lot. So there is still a lot of hair in here. Sometimes I will come in here and I will smell dog still. There's still traces of dog. I forgot I had this in here. I have a little model of my car. It's the Turbo 2 edition, but it is the S5, so it's cool. I usually put it in my front windshield during car meets. These are pretty nifty. They're good storage. Not that much to clean, but still some to tidy up. So yeah, I'm probably gonna get started and try and clean the whole outside of the car before I do the interior. I'll be filming the whole process. Jeez, the sun. This usually doesn't take me too long, but it's depending on how like detailed I want to get. Usually on this car I do a little bit better of a job. I love to drive around with a clean RX7, not a dirty one. I'm gonna start that process and I'll walk you guys through it. Okay, I figured I would give a little explanation as to what's going on. This is an entirely different day. I started to try and wash my car on, I think it was last week. I didn't end up washing my car that day or finishing the process because I wasn't able to get access to all of these cleaning supplies. Now that I have the cleaning supplies, I'll be able to fully complete the cleaning of my car. So yeah, I'm gonna be cleaning my car today. I'm gonna be filming the rest of the video. It is in a different location. I just pulled the car forward. It was down here past this red truck, and now we are going to be washing it right here in the upper part of my driveway. Okay, so this is what we are working with. I have a bunch of different stuff in here. I recently just got this tire coating. This is really nice and it worked really well. It literally smells so crazy. Like, the best way to describe it is that it smells like grapes, like really artificial grape smell, but it works really well and it makes it shine. The next one I have is this Armor just protectant. This, I don't know what it is, but I've used it on this car and also my 190E, and this literally makes the dash look brand new. It works just as good as, there's another thing that's not in here, this regular interior cleaner that works just as great for the dash as well as, like, it's the competition for the Armor All. This works pretty good, but there's just something about the Armor All that just really makes it shine. I have a whole collection of things in here, including things that like I would never use anymore because they are so old. I recently picked up a brand new bottle of this, and this is what I'll usually use for like my seats and anything else that is made out of leather. I also forgot that they make interior detailer wipes. I forgot that I had these actually. These are a little dirty. You don't want dirt in these. Only thing that sucks is that this hose is kind of small. Time to add soap. I use this. This is what I'm using. But like, I actually don't know what's a pretty good amount of soap. I'm like 99% sure that might be like too much, but we're just gonna go with it. Get it nice and foamy. Also, when I'm washing my car, I tend to make the mistake of like not wearing comfortable clothes while doing this because they get really wet. Time to unsheath this RX7. Still as dirty as it was before, if not dirtier. And from this point onward, it's mostly gonna be time lapses. Enjoy the process. Okay, while these are going on, I figured I would give a little bit of information and also explain what I'm doing in the video because I don't think that I'm gonna use any audio from the original one. In this clip, I'm just spraying down the car, just giving it a light rinse because there is a lot of loose dirt that accumulates, especially from the cover I put on it. So I always like to just spray it down and get it wet. I don't have one of those fancy foam sprayers yet. I really want to get one, but that'll be for something in the future. From this point onwards, I honestly just started to soap up the car and try to scrub off the more resistant areas. A lot of bug grime gets on my car since I live more in the countryside. Sometimes it can be difficult to get off, but nothing some soap can't solve. I'll do this for the whole body of the car until it is sparkly clean. In the meantime, I wanted to talk about my car and give some little facts about how I bought it, some specs and stories that I've collected from owning it so far, because I have a lot. The first thing that I'll dive into is how I found and purchased the car. I had gotten sent a Craigslist post for an RX-7. It was a stupidly low price and looked immaculate. I acted immediately and got into contact with the person selling. She was a very kind lady and explained the issues and started working with me to set up a time and date. I had to supply a trailer and money in hand as well as get a towing permit before we proceeded with the transaction. We set up a date for June 24th. She told me I could get there as soon as I wanted, but the only inconvenience is that this car was literally located 3 hours away, basically 5 with traffic. So me and my dad started out at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. That was very early for me. It wasn't that bad of a drive up there, but the drive back was a little bit worse. There was so much traffic. When we got there, I was super excited because this was my first time seeing an FC in person, actually. It was crazy, and I remember just like gazing at it as she pulled it out of the garage, and I just couldn't believe my eyes. It was a bit hard to believe that I was actually going to be buying the car because of how gorgeous and amazing it looked and sounded. She turned it on for me and started it, and the sound blew me away. The transaction was super easy and it went really well, and it was really fast too. She was a really nice person to meet, and she gave me so much information in all of the pre-existing documents, and also the manuals, the original like repair manuals. She kept everything, so I have a very organized list of all the maintenance that's been done on this car, so it made it very easy for me to map out what I was going to do to the car after I got it back home. I read all of those manuals on the way back home on the very long car ride. Long story short, we got it home safely, and we were able to talk to some people even through the traffic that were hyped to see the car as well. When I got home, I washed it, took some cool pictures, and called it a day with a huge smile on my face. After getting the car, the days that followed were a lot of testing. The car had a very troublesome check engine light at first that refused to go away unless I turned the car off and turned it back on again. I did a lot of maintenance to the car's internal parts over the course of the next few months, including the fuel filter, spark plugs, alternators, spark wires, and battery, also while experimenting with premix too. After giving the car a pretty thorough refresh though with some more recent maintenance, she seems to be running really healthy, which I'm very happy about because it seems that the maintenance I did was successful. The car loves oil, so I both changed the transmission fluid and the oil and oil filter to make the experience a little bit smoother, and it seems to have helped with the new things that I've added to the car. I haven't done any mods to this car so far other than a short shifter. That is the only thing that I've touched because it was necessary. The shifter was extremely sloppy and sometimes I would miss gears because of it, so I installed a short shifter. I believe it was Mazda Tricks. It was a gift for my birthday and it works extremely well. So I plan to keep the engine stock other than just some quality of life upgrades. As far as specs go, this is a 1990 RX7-FC GXL edition. There were 3 models made, including the GTU, the GXL, and the Turbo 2 model of the FC that I can recall. The thing that makes it different between the 3 models that they made is that it had all electric components and also the luxury leather seat option. It has a slide-back sunroof, electric seat belts that slide back when you shut the door or open it, and auto-adjusting electric suspension between sport and normal mode. It makes the handling of the car feel a lot nicer, and I love messing around with it. Having this model has honestly been so much fun, and I cannot stress enough how cool it is being able to say that I have the GXL edition. I've learned so much about this car, and honestly there's so much more I can say about it, but I will wait until I get into the interior cleaning part of the car to say more. Alright, the last step in the exterior process that I usually do is the wheels. These have been looking pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie, especially because of all of these, and I don't really have like a rim cleaner. Any rim cleaner that I've used has started to deteriorate these. Until I get new rims, I'm gonna refrain from using those. Okay, so now that I've finished cleaning the wheels, the next step is to completely dry off the car. I am gonna grab a towel that doesn't mean too much to me. It can get dirty. I'm going to dry the car off in solid sweeps. Or so I've been told that that's the best way to dry off a car and doesn't leave as many water spots. I think I chose a pretty good time to clean my car. The sun isn't blazing in this direction and it hasn't been pretty hot out because it's been winter. I'm just gonna get it a little dry off before the water settles and I'll come back. All right, the car is looking a little bit more lively like it used to. I am honestly loving the results. The first thing that I'm gonna do before I start anything on the interior is spray some of this tire cleaner, because it takes about, I think it literally says 15 minutes and then it's all good. So this tire cleaner, spray it on, just wait, do the interior while I'm waiting, and maybe wipe down the windows and stuff too. Truth be told, actually, this car just got new wheels put on it right before I got it. So I think they only had like 16 miles on them, which is kind of insane. Okay, the interior is exactly how I left it. There is some trash, some things I need to pick up, and some things I need to move around. I'm gonna grab those and then I'm gonna start cleaning up the interior. Okay, now to say more about what specs this car has. This car has 150,000 miles on it. Original engine, nothing done to it. The only things that have been touched have been the things outside of the actual rotary itself. So I am praying that those apex seals are in good condition and that I can keep them in good condition as well. The car seems to be doing okay, and I am full trusting that the care and the time and dedication I have taken to learning about this engine will help me be successful with keeping it in good condition in the future. The car came with cruise control and also its own warm-up sequence. The car on startup warms up to 3K RPMs and then drops down slowly till it gets to about 750. Then, when it's idling good, then I know it's time to go. Specs aside, there are some things that I'd like to add to this car in the future once I get some more money. I think that I'm going to keep this car OEM Plus just because I really love the look of that. There are some times where I've been tempted to just go full out and put a GT wing on it, but I think I'm just gonna keep it to more simple tastes. But I'll leave those items up for discussion in another video when I have more time to explain why I want those things. Now that the car is all clean, I just have to clean up my little cleaning station and put everything back. I'm really happy with how everything came out, and I'm glad that I could finally get myself to do this because it racked up so much dirt and grime. I'm gonna be cold starting the car soon, so you'll see a clip of that. Okay, it is literally pitch black out now. Here I am inside the RX7. I figured I would just record the cold start because it sounds so good. Sorry, I'm like shaking. It's so freaking cold in here. Cold start. Let's see if I can actually find the keyhole. Okay, let's see. This is what a cold start sounds like on an RX7. You can see, I think I just caught it. The revs were up at 3K and then they drop to about 1,000. It needs to build oil pressure and the temperature. It takes about like 10 minutes to warm up fully. It's like to let my car warm up to about here. This temperature gauge will come up to these two little bars and it'll come up to about there. And that's when I know that it's good to take off. This is all that I have for this video today. I hope that you enjoyed watching my process and how I clean my car and listening to some cool information I have about it as well. It was really fun to film. I'm definitely looking forward to making more content about my car in the future. Truth be told, I was actually going to film a car meet after this happened, but I figured it would be too long to put in the video and I wanted to save that for a different video in the future. Either way, please expect content like that in the future when I do go to car meets and show my car off. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.